So, Coffee and Kareem is the newest Netflix comedy to come out. It's directed by Michael Dowson. If you guys never remember that name, it's because he directed Stuber in another movie that I actually will be talking about a little bit later, which is actually pretty good. He is co-written by Shane Mack, who I believe this is his feature debut as a writer. The movie is produced by Ed Helms. It's about a cop named James Coffey, who is dating a black woman by the name played by Taraji P. Henson. She has a son named Kareem, who's played by Terrence Little Garden High, and essentially Coffey is the laughingstock of his police department. And through a whole bunch of mishaps, he and Kareem have to fight against some corrupt cops and gangsters who are basically trying to kill them both. I didn't know anything about this movie going into it. I only saw it because I saw it was coming out, and I was like, okay, well, like, you know, whatever. That's a new movie. Might as well check it out. I didn't know who was directing it. I didn't know really much about the cast. It turns out a lot of recognizable people are in it. Betty Gilpin's in it, coming back again after The Hunt. Andrew Batchelor, or King Batch from people who remember Vine, is in it. And David Alan Grier, who's in it for about 2 scenes. But, this movie is weird. It's a really weird movie because it has that shtick of, you have someone like Ed Helms, who's your most cookie cutter, basic white dude. That's a shtick. It's always been a shtick since the Office. Who's dating Taraji P. Henson, and she has this loudmouth little kid who, it talks big game and is like cursing all the time. And the best way I can describe this movie is that it's the whole notion of, isn't it funny when kids curse? And it does that in the beginning. It does that throughout the entire movie a little bit too much. It also in the beginning kind of does that thing of like, here's the white cop with the hood possible stepson, or the hood hanging out with the hood child, isn't it funny how like he keeps calling him out on like low-key racist stuff that he does, like he doesn't even realize he's doing. And honestly, there are times where that's really funny. Like, there are certain call-outs that he does where I'm like, okay, I can't help but laugh at that. Or, like, other people will do it to him. But there is that thing of, like, the joke getting stale. You kind of get to the point where you're just looking for something else to laugh at. And, honestly, the beginning of the movie, at first I was like, okay, I'm not really digging this. I don't really like it. This is kind of basic. And I feel like we've seen this before. But then once it gets to the actual... I guess cover-up / corrupt cop part of the film, it actually is a little bit more enjoyable, to the point where I was laughing a lot. For one, I have to give a big shout out to Betty Gilpin again, who at this point I think can star in any bad movie, and as long as she's playing at 11 while everybody else is at like an 8, she will always be like one of the shining stars of it. Essentially, like her character is a over the top, like, balls to the wall cop, but at the same time she's also a heavy coke addict, and as the movie progresses she just gets crazier and crazier, like even more so, like, like the in The Hunt she was a lot more like quiet until she was like in the midst of murder. This movie she's at,
take very long.
Yeah, which didn't take very long. This one, it's like she's always she's just bat insane. And it's great. I honestly, I found her incredibly enjoyable and really, really funny. I also want to shout out David Alan Grier, who, like I said, is only in the movie for like 2 scenes, but when he shows up, and he's just as funny as he's always been. I think, and honestly, like, even Ed Helms, like, at first, he wasn't really, like, hitting with me, but then, like, as the movie goes along, and, he, I guess, loses track of his basicness, and just kind of loses himself into the madness, which has kind of always been his thing, like, since The Hangover. Like, once he, like, lets his guard down and goes crazy, he's funny. I don't know, like, maybe it was the fact that I watched, like, 2 really, like, depressing movies, but, like, I ended up kind of enjoying this a lot more than I was expecting. Now, that being said, I can't say it's that good of a movie, but it did make me laugh more than I was expecting. I also think that, like, Terrence Little Garden High, who while I don't think all of his jokes really landed, and this is the kid I'm talking about, while I don't think they really land that much in the beginning, as the movie goes along, he does have a lot of like really good or not one-liners, but like really good punchlines, or like just certain things he says that like does make you like you can't help but laugh at it. But once again, they do that thing where they just make the little kid curse all the time, to the point where like even my fiance was watching it with me, and she was like, "Oh my god, if I was his mother, I'd smack him in the mouth." Like even after the cameras were done rolling, because he just curses so much in this movie. But I mean, he's funny when he is, and it works at times. So I think once the movie gets crazier, I think it does better. Like once it gets like through I would say the halfway mark, and the movie lets its hair down, and it's not trying to do the white cop black kid joke anymore, and it's just like look at these two try to get along and survive the night. That's when I ended up, letting my guard down, saying, okay, this is actually a pretty good time. So I, shockingly enough, enjoyed this movie. I can't say it's good, but you can have a good time with it. Maybe have a couple of drinks, just laugh at the stupidity of the whole thing. But I think if anyone's just kind of looking for a dumb laugh, you kind of have a good one on your hands. I don't know. It's such a mixed bag of a movie. I also think Taraji P. Henson was really, really good. I actually was shocked she was in it as much as she was. I thought she was going to be one of those things where she's only in it for like half the movie, and maybe spends the entire movie calling her son trying to figure out where he is. But she actually has a good amount of screen time and kicks when she needs to. She low-key is the hero of the movie in a way. But yeah, I dug it. If you like Betty Gilpin's performance in The Hunt, and you want to see, I guess, her even more wild, and she was actually also in Stuber, so I guess she has a good working relationship with Michael Dowse. But yeah, if you just want to see some classic buddy cop insanity, this isn't that bad of a movie to watch. So I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. Not perfect, not really that good, but you let your hair down, you'll have a good time with it.
2.5 and calling it not perfect seems pretty disproportionate there.
Hey Luke, shut the f***
up. It sounds like it exploits a gimmick, from what you were saying, and that reminds me, like with the whole like kids cussing thing, that reminds me of Good Boys, that Jacob Tremblay movie.
Yeah, and I never saw that, and low key, like
I did not enjoy that at all, for the same reasons it sounds like you didn't enjoy this.
Yeah, it's like once like in the beginning when they have like, it's like Kareem and his like little friend whose name I don't think they ever even say, but it's just like, yeah, bleep this, bleep that, but I'm making your life easier. Like, yeah, blah 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 blah, and he's just like talking about how he wants to bang his teacher, and it's just like, okay, dude, like you calm down. You're still a child. Like
there's a shock value to it at the beginning. It's just like that shock value wears off rather quickly. I did want to ask you, because I remember you do liking Stuber. Obviously,
I never saw Stuber.
Oh,
no, I never saw Stuber.
I thought you liked. Shoot, who saw Stuber?
No, I was intrigued by Stuber because the cast was actually pretty good. Because I like Kumail Nanjiani, I like Dave Bautista, and they have Iko Uwais from The Raid in it. Oh, and Betty Gilpin. So I was like, okay, this actually might be a pretty good movie. But I never saw the movie itself. The reviews weren't good, but I low-key am curious to see if it's sort of in the vein of Coffee and Kareem, where like it's dumb and really not the best movie, but it still has like little nuggets of humor that I'll find enjoyable. And having seen another movie that I genuinely think is great, and I think that's, as far as I can tell, it's the best reviewed Michael Dowse movie to come out, but that might come down to its writers. Yeah, I think that his style of comedy is kind of, it's high violence, it's hard R, but it has like that weird, like it has that weird heart to it, you know what I mean? Like Coffee Kareem, the heart is the relationship between Coffee and Kareem. The other movie, Stuber, the heart of it is Dave Bautista eventually caring for Stu, and trying to take care of him and make sure he survives the night as well. And the other movie I'll get to later, the heart of the movie is hockey and people's love for hockey. So
What?
I don't know.
What movie?
I'll get to it. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, is it one of your birthdays?
Yeah, it's one of my birthdays.
Oh, I thought you meant the documentary. I was like, that did not sound like that.
What documentary did I watch?
Finding Yin Yins about hockey.
Yeah, it's about hockey. You know, yeah, it's about hockey. No, but yeah, like Coffee Kareem, like I don't know, it made me, like I said, because I watched two really depressing documentaries. It was kind of what I needed, just something light.
And what did you give it again?
I give it 2.5.
2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5. So like I said, it's low key in the middle for me. It's not that great, but it's not that bad.